So yesterday I was driving home from Ashely's farm after we went out to that restaurant, and I was extremely tired driving. Like, I've never been that tired driving before. I don't think I would ever drive being that tired again. But what does everyone do just to like wake up when you're tired? Because I was struggling, and I don't want to do that again. I haven't been that tired driving since like juggling work and college at the same time. How does everyone stay awake when they're tired and they have to drive? Let me know. We are here.
He's the biggest pet in the barn. Well, this is my wife horse. She goes out there, he puts his head on his shoulders and does everything. But he can't ride because he's got a neck injury. He has to ride something really smooth. So we've had him since he's a year old. And I told her, I said, somebody else. But how is he around now? Really good. He's never bred a bear. I mean, he's actually a little wired up, but I rode him last night. He rode really good, but that's the first time he's been rode probably 6 months. But we've turned him out with Gildens. And
What about other stallions?
huh?
He can be turned out other stallions or no?
I've never turned him out to other stallions.
Yeah. He's so pretty.
But he don't really know he's a stud yet. Sometimes.
So he hasn't covered yet?
No, I've never bred mare with him. We've had him since he was a year old. I got him when he's a year old. $13 to cut him in 10 minutes.
Wait, that's all it costs you to
$150.
To me, it cost me $1,500.
How much?
15 for my Clydesdale, $1,500.
Oh, Clydesdale. But him, I've had to cut him. I cut one the other day. He charged me, I think it was $150. I took it to him, and it was $200 if he come out to the barn. But in 10 minutes, he'd be cut, and he'd be a fly.
He's so pretty. Why didn't you want to breed him? He does not what you do.
We was in the roping, and we was gonna have a bunch of rope horses, mares, and was gonna breed them and raise performance horses. The neck injury, she fell off of we was roping, fell off and injured her neck. And that's what they say. If you breed if the black horse is homozygous, you breed to a Palomino, you're going to either get a buckskin, Palomino, or black.
Nice meeting you. Thanks for showing me. There are still quite a lot of horses to come out at the auction house later today. Remember, there are close to 200 horses here, and some of these horses are coming out multiple times. So there's the possibility that I might come back tonight just to get a better idea of the market conditions. But first, I'm going to go to dinner with Ashely, and then we're going to watch the Grand Prix show. And I thought this was quite interesting too. So the average horse price sold for around $6,100. The highest seller sold for $38,000. The top 5 averages sold for just over $24,000. So for me, I don't think the market is low by any means whatsoever. In the prior video, I said that one thing I like about this auction is that I believe the auction house represents both the seller and the buyer equally, and they do this by disclosing terms and conditions. This is something that I usually see in the fine print, but this auction house does a fantastic job of verbalizing the terms. And since as a community we have attended multiple auctions together last year, and we have numerous ones to attend this year, 2025, I think as a community we should understand these rules and also discuss them together and see if you think that these are geared towards the buyer or geared towards the seller, or if you think that they are two-sided. Personally, based on my limited knowledge, I think so far they are equal representation, and I can just tell that the Ocala auction house has a great contract lawyer that makes me feel more comfortable and increases my comfort level buying a horse here today. Let me know your thoughts, and let's listen to these rules.
That was not disclosed. It means that that horse is not a gelding that has a testicle still inside of it. So it's not a ridgeland that was not called or announced. That means that when you get home and your gelding should not be breeding your mares. It means that to not disclose a major blemish if it's on an internet bidder. If you're an internet buyer and a horse is sold here today and that horse has a major blemish, that must be announced in the stream. If you're here and that horse has a major issue, a major blemish, you should be able to see that. So we're not turning horses down for people that are looking these horses over that has a scratch on his hock or something like that. So also what it means is that if a horse is unregistered and they come in here and they call that horse to be a 15-year-old horse, and you get home and that horse is it was 15, maybe 10 years ago, then that is a blatant misrepresentation. And we
I didn't
don't
ride
like that. So we're not turning horses down for people that are looking these horses over that has a scratch on his hump or something like that. And if a horse is unregistered in it and they come in here and they call that horse to be a 15-year-old horse, and you get home and that horse is it was 15, maybe 10 years ago, then that is a blatant misrepresentation. And each matches your horse's actual age, then you need to ask somebody that can look at a horse's mouth before that horse comes in here to look that horse's mouth over and make sure that you're not making a blatant misrepresentation. Most of the time what happens is somebody buys a horse somewhere and that horse was called to be 10 years old. But they've had him for 3 years. Yeah. And every year when they pulled their coggins, they just told the vet that he was a year older. Well, they never looked in his mouth because I don't go around and look at every horse in my barn's mouth. And eventually you get to where you get ready to sell that horse and you bring it here and they say, oh, that horse is not 13 years old. He's 22. So it's most of the time what we found is it's not somebody trying to just mess somebody over. Make sure that you bring that up within that 48-hour guarantee. If a person comes in this sale ring and they're making they claims this horse is for a child, or it is broke for anybody, or it is 100% bomb proof, or some wild accusation like that, and you get home and that horse runs off of you and butts you off, that is a blatant misrepresentation. If somebody comes in this sale ring, they tell you this is a finished cutting horse, and you take it outside and it runs away from the cow because it's never seen one before. That's a blatant misrepresentation. Somebody tells you that this is a finished head horse, and you can't get him in a box because he flips over backwards with you and does all kind of crazy stuff. That is a blatant misrepresentation. Consigners, Ocala Horse Sale will not stand for you taking advantage of our customers. We've got good customers here, and we're going to work just as hard for you as we are for these buyers as well. Buyers remorse on Monday morning and decide they paid too much for their horse. Their neighbor came over and said, "I can't believe you paid that much for that horse that has no dog in the fight and has never probably bought a horse in their life." That does not give you an excuse to call us and try to make up a story to get out of this horse. We're going to hold your feet to the fire just like we hold our sellers to the fire. Today is the day to make your decisions. We want you to get the best horse for the best price you possibly can. And we're going to protect you in your purchase, but we're also going to protect our sellers in their sale. If they have done everything in their power to be honest with you and represent their horse to the best of their ability, and you sit here and bid against other willing participants, at the fall of that gavel, you're gonna be the owner. It's a purchase acknowledgement agreement. You will sign that. You will look it over. Any announcements that were made about that horse will be right there on that ticket. You'll get a copy of it. It's very important that you keep your copy when you come to that window and you pay. You've had a lot of opportunities as buyers to walk around here and look these horses over. I hope you've taken that opportunity. Before that horse comes in this sale ring, I would highly suggest that you walk back there to that stall if you've got a couple of horses picked out and talk with those consigners. Give them an opportunity to tell you the truth about what's a concern to you. Because what's a concern to you may not be a concern to the other 3, 4, 500 people standing around here today. So make sure that if you have a concern, it's something like genetic test or something that you have a concern about, that you have an opportunity to go talk to that consigner and ask them, has this horse been tested for HERDA? Has this horse been tested for GVAD? What's the 7-panel test look like? If they don't know, there's papers right here in this office. We will gladly look up those papers and see if there's a test on it. That is a pre-purchase situation. Okay. So if you get home 2 weeks from now, you decide that you are interested to know what the genetic test on that horse was, and you look at it and you see a result that's not favorable to you, don't call us and expect us to refund your money for that horse. Today is the day to make those kind of decisions. We don't take care of a pre-purchase situation and a post-purchase scenario. So make sure that you do all of your due diligence right now before you bid on these horses. Anything else other than sound on this block. So if somebody comes in here and says, this is a great horse, he's a finished head horse, you need to inject his hocks twice a year to keep him sound. What that means is if you don't inject his hocks twice a year, that horse is unsound. All right. I cannot guarantee you a horse to be sound that the person is selling to be unsound without injection. So that horse will be sold to you as is. All right. So make sure that you understand that anything other than this horse is sound will be announced as is. Doesn't mean the horse is an invalid. Doesn't mean you should purchase the horse. It just means I can't stand behind something I know is not going to be sound without the proper maintenance. All right. It's the buyer's responsibility, even with preferred horses. If there's been x-rays done, if there's been a pre-purchase exam done, and we have those in our possession, they're on our online catalog already. All you have to do is go to that particular horse's lot number, click on the pictures. You can see there's actually probably a link to the x-rays. There should be a link to the x-rays. There should be a link to the pictures of the PPE, whatever. If that's something that it is important to you, make sure that you take care of that prior to bidding. Again, when you bid on these horses, that is not after you bid on these horses and you're the successful bidder. That is not the time to decide that PPEs and X-rays are important to you. Prior to bidding on those horses is when that should be a concern to you. Listen to what's being said from the auction block. We're going to make a few announcements right here, and then we're going to turn it over to our auctioneers. And when that horse comes into the ring, if they say something that if they say, "Hey, there's a correction to your catalog. This horse is a stag, not a gelding," then that means you can't, when you get that horse on and he's a stud, don't call it complaining, because whatever is announced from the auction block takes precedence over any written material. We did not make up all the footnotes on each one of these horses as well. Ocala Horse Sale simply acts as agent for the buyer and the seller, as a meeting place for you guys to come and buy horses and for these guys to come and sell horses. So any footnotes that are in this catalog have been sent to us by the consignor. Sometimes things may change in the month leading up to the horse sale. They'll correct it from here in the auction block. So rideability is not a right of return. We have all day yesterday, we demoed horses out here. All day yesterday, consignors had people trying horses around here. And it is your responsibility as a buyer to make sure that horse is gentle enough if you need gentle, has enough athletic ability if you need an athlete, has the right gait if it's a gaited horse. All that is done prior to bidding. Okay, unless a consignor comes in here and makes some kind of a claim, which this horse sale is recorded. We have video recording of this sale, so anything that's said from the block, we will be able to go right to that video and look up immediately to make sure. And if you're right, I promise you, nobody in the auction business will fight harder for you than Ocala Horse Sale. If you're wrong, I'm going to tell you you're wrong. Okay. But so I encourage you to please do your due diligence. Do the best you can. Everybody makes mistakes from time to time. If you happen to make a mistake here and you buy a horse that you don't just love when you get home, we're going to have another horse sale right here, April the 19th. We'll start taking horses for it on February 1st. If you will call us and let us know, we will work just as hard for you to sell that horse as we did for the person who you bought it from. One person may not get along with the horse. The next person may love it, be its forever home. So any great horse, close attention to this, all right? If anybody at any point says this horse is out of registered stock, but we're going to sell it grade, what does that mean? It's grade. It will be grade. I don't care if they say it's an own son of Doc Fuller. Okay. Today we represent that horse to be great. Now, if you can pull hair off that horse and you can get the papers, that's between you and that consignor. And I hope you can, and I hope it's a great deal, and I hope you buy it for half price and sell it for twice what you paid for it. I'd love for that to happen for you. So we have to make a blanket policy. Our policy is if the horse does not have registration papers with a sign transfer, we cannot sell that horse as registered. We have to sell it as a great horse. Ricky is the greatest employee we have back here. He is absolutely a great employee. If you try to get out of that gate without your pink slip, is that right? I believe it's pink slip, and that horse's hip number on, he's going to hold you there. He's going to make sure that everything's right. You will not get out of that gate without the ticket that they give you in this office. You have to make sure that every purchase is paid for, or arrangements have been made before that horse leaves the grounds, because we would hate for somebody to take off with the wrong horse on an accident or on purpose. It would make for a pretty bad situation. Consignors, if you do not meet your reserve, if you have a reserve on your horse and you sold your horse here today, you still have to have a ticket to get out. We got to make sure that every horse that leaves this premises is a horse that is supposed to be with the person who has it. Unsold horses, the consignor, you should go to the office, make sure that you settle up with any unpaid situations such as shavings or anything else, or extra days for stalls before you leave. If you buy a registered horse here today, we're going to hold your papers. If you write a check for that horse, if you pay with a credit card for that horse, we're going to hold your papers until the funds clear our bank. That's the only leverage we have is your paperwork. Once the funds clear, we're going to mail you your paperwork. Sellers, also, we're going to hold your funds for 48 hours. Our guarantee lasts for 48 hours. It ends, actually, our guarantee, so just so you know, the 48 hours ends at 8 p.m. on Monday night. If you call at 9 p.m., the guarantee is over with, okay? So it is your due diligence as a buyer to get that horse home and try, make sure he's sound, make sure his eyes work, his ears work, everything that's supposed to work works. And and then if you have an issue that you think might be okay, but you're not 100% sure, call us anyway. At the end of that 48 hours, we're going to mail that seller his check when they or his or her check. When the money leaves us, we have no leverage to fight for you with. So if you'll call us and you say, I think this horse just has a stone bruise, but I wanted to bring it to your attention so that we could, get the ball started in case it's more than that. We'll hold their funds and we'll make sure that you're satisfied and everything's taken care of prior to paying that seller. If you don't do that, then we're going to mail them their check and we can't do anything for you. So I'm begging you, please don't call me on Wednesday next week and expect me to be able to make these people take the horses back. They need the money just like you need the horse. Okay. Okay, so you can pay with cash, a good check, credit card. If you pay with a credit card, there's a 3.75% fee that we're charged by the credit card processor. So if you pay with that credit card, we're going to tack on 3.75% to your total. We have lots and lots of transporters. There are lots of them here. There's a list in the office. If you didn't bring your trailer, you want to buy a horse, go by all means. Don't let that hold you back. You can go right there to the office. There's a big long list of transporters, and they'll take good care of you. We have a vet on the grounds. If you're leaving the state of Florida, we've got a good vet. She'll write you a health certificate, and she will be around here all day. But there's an office right over here later on this evening that she's usually at. She'll write your health. For you. So make sure if you're leaving the state of Florida tonight or tomorrow, she will not be here tomorrow. So make sure if you need a help, you get that taken care of before you leave here today. Uh, just go to the office and they'll get you her information and she'll get with you. If you have not got a buyer's number, make sure you go around to the office, get signed up. All you need is a driver's license, a valid driver's license, and we'll sign you up for a buyer's number. You absolutely have to have a buyer's number. And I said it earlier, but I want to remind you, if you did sign up to bid online early, and now you've decided to come here in person, we're so thankful to have you, but you do have to have another buyer's number, a different buyer's number than the one they assigned you online. You have to have one here in person as well. If you're buying online and you have had a buyer's number here in the past, and then you registered there, once you purchase a horse and they take it back to that stall, that horse becomes your responsibility. Make sure if you're going to be here for a while, or if you're going to be here not going to be here till tomorrow to pick that horse up, make sure that horse has hay and water. Make sure that's taken care of. If you need us to help you with that, we'll be more than happy to do it. But we can't read your mind, so you'll have to let us know in the office, and we'll get a list, and we'll make sure that your horses are taken care of tonight. And give us an idea of what time they'll be here. You'll be here tomorrow to pick them up, so we'll know if we need to do anything again in the morning. They consigners, you must leave a halter with your horses, halter and a lead rope with each horse. Please, before you leave, make sure that horse has had something to drink. Make sure they've got a flake of hay if you can. If that's impossible, make sure you tell somebody in the office, and we will do our best to try to make sure those horses are taken care of. At 11 o'clock on Sunday, every horse needs to be out of this barn. If that is impossible for you, make sure that you let us know, and we can arrange for that horse to lay over and stay here later, and we'll take care of it. We'll do everything, but we got to know that you've got a plan to get that horse out of here. If you're having a horse transported, make sure that transporter has contacted with our office and they know approximately what time they'll be here to get that horse out, so that we can do our best job to make sure that your new horse is not standing there in that stall without food and water. If you have a dog here, that's fine with us, but make sure that dog stays on a leash. That is the county's rule, not our rule. If you get somebody hurt because your dog's running around loose out there, running up under a horse that's not used to dogs, it's going to be a bad scenario for everybody. So please, 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 if you have a dog, make sure you keep them on a leash. If you have small children, make sure that you know where they are. Please, we do not want anybody's child to get hurt. Make sure that you keep them in your line of sight. Don't just turn your back. I know that because we have small children, I know it's pretty easy to lose one. So just make sure their life does depend on it, and somebody else's life might depend on it if that child gets up under that horse and gets in a bind. Other than that, ladies and gentlemen, if you don't mind, sometime throughout the day, go out here and visit with our vendors. We've got some really good vendors. Mr. Baldridge from Mississippi is one of the largest tack dealers in the United States. If you need tack of any kind, he is the man. If you don't see something out there that you need, if you'll spend about 2 minutes talking with Mr. Baldridge, he can sure get your address and ship you whatever you need.
Do you have any neck straps for tackless riding?
For the bridle or for the?
It's just for bridleless riding.
Just goes around their neck. Just gives the neck ring part. Right. That's ropes like it.
I appreciate it.
It's marked down already.
Well, what kind of deal if we get we buy all of them?
112 Stevie. Let's get it. She's so cute.
Sold $10,000. I took you Johnny 10,000. Thank you. I sold. Oh, 2,800. Thank you. Thank you. That's one to be hit on the holy fire. I am paying 2.10. Sold $8,000. Oh, yes. Thank you. That's how it comes. Thank you. That's one to
Dinner, and then we're gonna go watch the Grand Prix. So stay tuned. It's a big weekend. So Ashley and I are getting some fish. Ashley got. So you don't know this, but on the video I was saying how Ashley rides Western and English, and she does both the best, and you were gonna get first place.
Yeah.
And I said she'll kill me if I said that. But be honest, don't you win a lot?
All I do is win.
All she does is she wins a lot. But
I have to believe that.
will you just kind of say how you ride English? And Ashley rides. She doesn't just believe in riding English or Western. She's one of the few that rides both, right? Would you just admit that?
Yes.
And will you tell them what you do in Western?
Raining.
And what does that mean?
Slide stop, spins, all that. It's a fun pattern. It's challenging, but fun and pretty different.
And then what do you do in English?
Hunter jumpers.
And what's the difference between hunter and jumpers?
Hunters is judged on your horse, and you want a good canter, nice cadence, find the jumps good. Jumpers is speed and keeping the jumps up.
And Ashley always teaches me that when the horse is jumping in the air, like you always want to have like the extension. So the legs should be like long down, right? Like the legs should be hanging when they're jumping.
You want like a nice vestibular for the jumps.
I'm kidding. You told me what type it is.
Yes.
But she knows English from Western. And when you first started riding, what was the first style of riding that you did?
Barrel racer.
Barrel racing.
Yeah.
So she did so rodeo, barrels to what?
Jumping.
Jumping.
Yeah.
Then she still does jumpers to hunters, and now she's also doing the brain.
Yeah.
So she does it all. So she's gonna come with the farm, and she's gonna give us a lesson in front of everybody on the round pen, right?
One day.
One day. I have to pay her lots of money. She's expensive.
No, I'm an amateur, so I don't get paid.
Oh,
I get paid in sushi and sake.
And a steak dinner yesterday.
That's right. Had expensive taste.
Oh, so what are we doing tonight?
Going to the Grand Prix.
The Sex on the Beach. What is Sex on the Beach?
Spicy tuna, shrimp tempura.
Sex on the Beach is food? That's a drink.
It's a roll.
It's a roll.
Yeah.
Okay. Can you read the ingredients?
Sex on the Beach is spicy tuna, shrimp tempura, topped with white tuna, avocado, the little black fish eggs, eel sauce, and spicy mayo.
Uh-huh.
So that's that one. The rock and roll is also...
The spicy mayo. I love spicy mayo.
Mm-hmm. The rock and roll is shrimp tempura, cream cheese, crab meat, lettuce, masago, and eel sauce.
Sold.
Lobster roll is deep fried lobster, cream cheese, crab meat, lettuce, masago, and eel sauce.
That sounds less desirable to me than the first two.
Okay, all right. So you like the sound of those two. The Hawaii roll is crab meat, avocado, topped with mango sauce.
I love avocado.
Did you like mango?
Mm-hmm.
Because that's like a good sweet mango roll.
How many come in a piece?
I mean, these are like bigger rolls. So like, I could eat 1.5.
And how many are in it? 5?
There's probably 6 pieces.
I could probably eat 8. I don't think I have the right cameras or the right audio just to kind of capture the true essence of the Grand Prix, but this is the jumpers. Remember, Ashely was competing in the hunters. So this is judged on the time and the rouse up. Just a completely different sport and discipline to the hunters that we watched Ashely compete, but it doesn't make sense to continue playing this video because we just don't have the right audio and camera right now. So I'm preparing for our first big snowstorm of the year. I'm new to this type of a climate, and I just hoping I did everything right. I do have 4 water troughs that are filled, and I have the de-icers in them. And I also have like the safety cord connected to the de-icers in the event that there's like some type of electric risk with the water and the horses, so that should be okay. I'm hoping I have my hot tub set to 104 degrees, hoping that that doesn't shut off too. I'm getting my generator ready. I'm buying gas. Hoping it's not going to be too crazy. I don't feel comfortable driving up and down my driveway because it's so steep if it freezes up. So I will likely just get home early, get to the farm, get everyone situated, and then stay in the house at the farm and just not leave until it's gone. But I do have lots of food for the horses, lots of hay. So I did plan in the event that this would happen a long time ago. And let's just hope my plan goes accordingly. But we are going to have to leave this horse adventure early. But don't worry, there will be others coming up soon. What's most important is that I get home safely, so my horses have their horse dad and I can take care of them. What did you think of Ashely's horse, Mimi? I'm pretty sure she's 15, and she moves like silk. I've never seen a horse move like that. I was actually talking to Ashely about, is that due to her genetics? Is that due to the training? And it's a combination of the genetics and the training, but I believe it's mostly due to her genetics. She's just something that you don't see too often, and was incredible. It was so beautiful to watch. Mimi has never had a foal before, but she's 15, and I hope Ashely does breed Mimi because she's a perfect example of a horse that, you know, you should breed and get the good genetics from. Like, the goal is to breed certain types of horses and not to breed certain types of horses. So she's a horse that we want to breed. I don't know if Ashely would though. She's our star. And the horses all looked really happy at that event. Ashely and her trainer are so ethical, and they put the horse first. And I think we should film of them more, maybe at their barn another time.